my goals this year is to get my financial life together. Time to adult financially and to stop playing games with my money. And as I've been thinking about, that goal, I came across this trend that has been flying around TikTok, and it's called the ins and outs trend. Ins are things you want to do more of, whereas outs are things you want to do less of or you want to completely eliminate. Now, you can do ins and outs for anything. So as I thought more about my financial goals, I felt it would be helpful to actually do the ins and outs, things I want to do more of financially and things I want to do less of. This video is like a chit-chat video. I'm talking about my own personal finance goals for the year, and I hope this video inspires you. And I have 5 ins, right? The first one is having an emergency fund, even though I honestly don't like calling it emergency fund because I believe so much in the power of the spoken word. So I'm just calling it my starter fund, right? My starter fund, that's what I'm calling it. But this year I want to create that. An emergency fund is basically you having 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up. I also recently just started working in the United States, so I have not really had as much time to put together my emergency fund. But this year, the goal is to save and have a few months of living expenses in the bank. Second in that I also want to do this year is investing my money rather than just saving it. So all through the last year that I've been in the United States, I have saved my money in high yield savings accounts. High yield savings accounts are basically accounts that give you like 4%, 5% yearly interest on your savings. And they're very liquid. You're not investing in any asset or anything. You're just saving money. Example of a high yield saving account is the Marcus by Goldman Sachs. That's the one I actually use. Now I've used that, right? And it has been helpful. I've gotten interest on the money that I've saved. But this year I actually want to put my toe into the water and actually start investing, right? I want to invest in ETFs. I want to invest in index funds. I want to just try. I actually researched it. Many of these investments have really low minimum investment thresholds, and I believe that I should be able to invest, some money instead of just saving it. So this year, beyond just saving my money, I want to actually invest it. The third in that I have for my personal finance this year is having a no spend week. Now, this is something that I came upon, I think it was on Reddit or actually on TikTok, but I had researched how to control spending, and I'll talk more about this when I'm talking about my outs. But someone had recommend having a no spend week. A no spend week essentially is 1 week of the month where you do not spend anything. I've tried it actually in the month of January. I tried it. I had a no spend week, and it was so much fun that I actually had a no spend 3 weeks. Like I went 3 weeks, I did not spend anything. I did not buy groceries. Was it okay? I think it was 2 weeks that I had actually. And I ate the food that I had in my house. I did not buy anything from Amazon. Wow, that's a breakthrough for me. But I want to have more of that this year, where 1 week, at least a week of the month, I did not spend anything. I use what I have. I conserve whatever I have. I find an alternative, I just try to manage, right, instead of just buying things at the first impulse. And I think this is really helpful, especially if you're trying to control your spending and stop buying unnecessary things. Fourth in that I have this year is increasing my earning capacity, okay? I believe, personal finance people will tell you how to get rich is to spend less than you earn. And I believe in that, do that. But I also believe that beyond just saving money and spending less than you earn, we could also just increase, earning capacity. And there are many ways to do this. You can learn a new skill, you can start a side hustle, you can change jobs, you can ask for a promotion. There are many, many ways to do this. And I talk about ways to do this in my video about investing in yourself. You should watch that video. So this year, I'm taking my own advice, and my goal at the end of the year is to increase my earning capacity. I want to be able to earn more than I'm currently earning. And yeah, I'll carry you guys along on the journey, but that's an in for me. The last in that I have for my personal finance this year is to increase my credit score. I've spoken about credit score on the channel before. I'll link that video here as well. Not all of the factors that lead to a high credit score are within my control. For example, length of credit. But for every other factor that's within my control, my goal this year is to stay within the recommended, thresholds for having a high credit score. So I want to maximize, I want to get as high as possible. Like, that's my goal. I want to get as high as possible. And that means like, reducing my credit utilization, paying bills on time, not carrying interest over to the next month, just maintaining good credit hygiene. That's my aim for this year. Now, moving on to the outs. These are things that I do not want to do anymore when it comes to my personal finance. First out is emotional shopping. I want to stop it. Emotional shopping basically is shopping based on how you feel or shopping to feel better. When I came to the US and I discovered Amazon, I'm like, I was like the best thing about living in the US. The fact that I can order something and get it the same day or the next day. And what I realized is that, I'm always buying things. Like there was a time where almost every day, or at least once in a week, I was getting an Amazon box being delivered to my house. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. I wasn't buying things I did not need. That's another thing I learned. Because I felt like, I'm actually buying what I need. I started tracking it and I realized that I most times will feel the urge to buy something, even though it's a necessary thing, when maybe I'm going through a stressful event. So that's why I categorize it as emotional shopping. And I want to stop doing it this year. And the way that I have actually stopped doing it this year and even last year was, as I said in my having a no spend week. So what I do now is that whenever I have the urge to buy something, and it's not just the urge, but like whenever I see a need, so let's say I'm walking around my house, I'm cleaning, and I realize that I've run out of, dish soap or something like that. Instead of just going to Amazon and buying it immediately, what I do is that I buy it and I put it in my cart and I leave it. I did that last month. It was amazing. Like, as I was seeing things that I needed, I was just adding it to my cart, I had a time that I said, like, today is the day that I shop. Today, between the hours of 10 and 1, I'm going to shop. And when I actually sat down, I saw everything in my cart. And because I added it to my cart and I waited before I actually bought it, I found other ways. Like, I had multiples of things and I was forgetting that I had them. Or I have something else I can use to replace it. So this year, I want to stop buying things to feel better or buying things whenever I have the urge. I want to shop when I have scheduled that I'm shopping. That's the plan. The next out for me this year is credit card debt, right? So it's actually very easy, and I learned that last year. It's very easy to just pay for things with your credit card and forget that it's there. Like, I honestly always forget that I have money on my credit card because it's so little. And it's like, it's not a lot of money, I can pay it off. So I think for me, I kind of felt like if I can pay off my credit card, it's not a big deal. But what I realized is, even though I can pay off my credit card, I don't want to be charged interest. Interest is basically free. I was wasting money. Like, if you pay $50 in interest, that's $50 that you could have spent on something else that you actually enjoy. This year, I don't want to pay any interest, and I want to be deliberate about making sure that I pay off my credit card at the end of the month or at the end of the week, and not allowing $0 of my money go into interest paid. So another hour that I have for myself this year is not spending on a budget. I want to completely stop that habit. What I used to do was, say I have something that I want, I want to decorate my house, or I want to buy a top, like a sweater. Immediately I have the desire, I immediately move to shopping. Like, I just move into, okay, what are the nice sweaters out there? I want to stop doing that. What I want to do instead is, I want to say that, I need a sweater. And I want to decide how much do I want to spend on a sweater before I even see the options, before I research or anything. I want to decide in advance. Like, I want to spend $50 on a sweater, or I want to spend $100 on a sweater. And then with that amount, with that budget in mind, I want to then go and shop. And that way, when I'm shopping, I will stay within my budget. My fourth personal finance out for this year is peer pressure to look a certain way. I personally feel, or I felt in the past, some type of pressure to have some things, or to look somehow, to dress a type of way, or to do something because I've seen other people do it. This is what we all know as keeping up with the Joneses. And I may or may not, I may actually have fallen multiple times under that pressure, and I'll buy things, I'll make decisions, financial decisions, to keep up with expectation or appearances, right? But this year I'm learning to not lie. Don't lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself, right? I want to only care about my own opinion about myself. My last personal finance out for this year is not having financial boundaries with people. When it comes to money, I think it's actually helpful to have financial boundaries. And let me know if you're interested in this topic. I'm willing to make a detailed video about what financial boundaries are. So a very generic example of this is making other people's problems my problem. If someone has a problem with something, and if I don't have financial boundaries, I can make that person's problem my problem, and then that way I have to spend money on someone else's problem, forgetting that I also have things that I want to spend money on. I want to be rational and know where my boundaries lie. What am I comfortable spending? What am I comfortable giving out? What am I comfortable loaning somebody? Who am I comfortable giving money to? Who am I not comfortable, giving money to? All that. These are things that I want to begin to develop. Let me know if you are willing to share one personal finance in and one personal finance out that you would like to practice this year. And if you do not think critically about your money, this is the time for you to begin to think critically about your money. And one way that you can do that is by investing in yourself. And I made two videos actually about how to invest in yourself this year, and I believe you should go and check them out. I'll link them up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.